Sports are more than just scores. They are the moments that brings us together. The debates that never end, the stories that define seasons. At the Playmakerz Network, we bring friends closer together to the game, teams, and the moments they care about most. From the hardwood to the gridiron. From the wrestling ring to Rams football. Our show delivers analysts, opinions, interviews, and conversations that keep fans together year-round. Whether you're watching live, listen on your favorite podcast platform, or following us on social media, there is always a place for you in the PNZ community. The Playmakerz Network. Sports, community, conversation. Welcome to the network.
Maybe you from the 1970s, when the Los Angeles Rams was known as the Prison Foursome because of that defensive line. Or maybe you in the city of St. Louis, the gateway to the Midwest, where the greatest show on turf brought home the first ever Super Bowl championship. Or maybe you in the here and now, with the Rams back in LA, winners of Super Bowl 56. It doesn't matter, because when it comes to this, it's all about the Los Angeles Rams. Horns up, Rams South. Time to talk Rams football.
Well. The day is finally here. Another season of Ramily Talk. Another season of covering Rams football right here on the Playmakerz Network. Yes, welcome to Ramily Talk. Your host, the Playmaker. I'm back. Like T.I. said, I'm back. Season 7. We have entered season 7 of this program, of this show. It's been a wonderful journey to cover the Los Angeles Rams for the past 7 years. And I'm looking forward to doing more of this. I love this team. I love this organization very much. I got to meet some other people inside of the organization. Looking forward to building a real and rapport connection with players and coaches in this organization when that time comes. But I did get to meet Stan Kroenke a couple back in 2 years ago in New Orleans. I got to have conversations with Joanna Hunter through emails. And it's been an honor, it's been a pleasure to be able to talk to them through email stuff, working on some things. More to about Ramily Talk, working to, I might be adding some people, may have some special guests coming on, but it's all in the works. I'm still got things to do, but nevertheless, to do season 7 for Ramily Talk is an honor that I did not think I was going to be able to achieve. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought I would probably do a couple of seasons of this and be done with it, but the longest reigning program in the Playmakerz Network, moving on to season 7, man. It's been a great journey. Looking forward to doing more great stuff as this journey continues for me. But I just want to thank everybody out there who has been listening or watching this program for the past 6 years of me talking about the Rams, the Los Angeles Rams, and to the best of my ability. I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate the interaction and everything. And I'm looking forward to another fun season. I got some different things coming up these things. I got some different ways that I'm going to present Ramily Talk this year. Hopefully, y'all will enjoy it. You know, for those of you who are new to Ramily Talk, this is a all Rams podcast, Rams Nation, East Coast station, all about the Rams. Horns up. Because I live out here in the East Coast. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, residing in Jacksonville, Florida, born and raised here as well. So that's why it's an East Coast station, and it's about the Rams because I'm out here on the East Coast talking about a team that's out on the West Coast. But those who've been faithful listeners to Ramily Talk, thank you very much. I am thankful for you guys. But enough of that. We're gonna get into it. It's the premiere episode, and as we do when the preseason hops around, which begins tonight, preseason, we preview the entire schedule of the Los Angeles Rams. We'll make predictions. We will predict what we think how the Rams will do this season, and we're gonna see if our prediction comes correct. More times, surprisingly, more times than not, I've been pretty good on these making these predictions. Okay, I had the Rams going 12-5, but I had them winning the NFC West. They did go 12-5, but they lost the NFC West to the Seattle Seahawks, who are the defending Super Bowl champions. So, but a lot of things on took place. We already know quickly. Traded for Trent McDuffie from the Kansas City Chiefs. We added Jalen Watson, who was also in that secondary with with Trent McDuffie into the secondary. The big trade, trading for Myles Garrett, even though we gave up Jared Verse and some draft picks. And then everything is circling around number 99, Aaron Donald. We're still waiting to see what he's going to do, but just about everybody's like, oh, he's coming back. We just don't know when he's coming back, how long he's going to play, and all that other stuff. But most people thinking that Aaron Donald's coming back. So that's going to be a nasty defense this year. So you got Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, you got Quentin Lake, Cam Curl. You still can use Cam Kitchens. That's just the back end. The front end of that defense: Myles Garrett, Aaron Donald, Byron Young, Braden Fitz, Kobe Turner, Panuta Ford. Jeez! Woo! By the way, Josiah Stewart is making a name for himself in the linebacker spot along with Nate Landman. So the middle's looking better as well. So that defense is going to be nasty. Oh, this defense is going to be nasty. So we're going to get more into that as we go along. But I got a new little segment doing. I ain't got no intro to it yet. But I'm thinking about doing an intro to it and whatnot. I don't know yet. I'm thinking about that. But I got one that's called the Ramily Rundown. News and notes from Rams House, as you can see the tagline, Rams Nation, East Coast Station, horns up every week. So when I go through and I talk about the Rams and I give you some news and notes what's going on out there in Los Angeles, even though I'm here in Florida, this is me doing my best to cover the Rams to the best of my ability, making sure that people know what the Rams do as an organization, not just a football team, but as an organization as a whole. So those of you who know, Stu Johnson has been the guy that I've been using his articles from to talk about Rams news that are I think more important for people to know when we talk Ramily Talk on Ramily Talk here. So let's go ahead and get into it. Myles Garrett is still dealing with that swelling in the knee. They aired on the side of the cause when they had the joint practice with the Dallas Cowboys. So nothing, they say it's nothing too concerning, just, being precautionary with Myles Garrett, just making sure he's ready for the season. We got preseason here, but we still got about a month away before the regular season. So they want to be careful with Myles Garrett. Same thing what they did Matthew Stafford last year. He was dealing with the back injury, and they was very cautious with Matthew Stafford. And turned out he came out and had a MVP season. MVP season. Nobody thought he would have an MVP, but he did. So they're just doing the same thing with Myles Garrett, defensive player of the year. So they're just taking their time. That's all what it is. But Stu Johnson and Zach Edwards, they did give out 10 observations from the first joint practice with the Dallas Cowboys back on Tuesday with the pass game and pass rush in focus. And this is what they took away from it. Stafford looked sharp. He looked incredible, did his thing in that regard, looking like the MVP quarterback that he is. He do one interception to a linebacker, Justin Brown, but Sean McVay was pleased with his day and praised how he saw the coverage. Number 2, offensive line, encouraging day. This is what, so Zach Edwards, he did the offense. Stu Johnson did the defense. So the first two are from Zach Edwards. He says, strong in running game, Stafford single out Steve Largent and Kevin Dyson. So that's good. Offense looking good. Sticking with the offense at number 3, Puka and Adams heavily involved. Both were targeted in the short passing game. Puka left early with an unspecific reason. Winnington and Montfred stepped in. Yeah, good outings. Jordan Winnington and Montfred had a good outings with the joint presence against the Dallas Cowboys. Tight ends in the mix, all the tight ends, Cody Parkinson, Tyler Higbee, and Terrence Ferguson all made plays. Our running back, Karen Runson, caught a check down for a touchdown. So just doing that. That's obviously for number 5, Miles Gale was out and he's following a precautionary decision. Number 6, Passport still dominant. Byron Young was disruptive versus Terrence Steele. Josiah Stewart, Brandon Fitz, Kobe Turner, Panona 4 also created pressure. Something to behold when you can get pressure on Dak Prescott. That's pretty good. Quentin Lake, speaking of Dak Prescott, Quentin Lake picks off. That intercepted Dak Prescott in the end zone, in the red zone, jumping on a quick throw intended for George Pickens. Good. That's good to know. That's good to know. You knew the tendency. You had an idea where Dak Prescott was going. I like that. Even though this is joint practice, there's some of the stuff you want to see in joint practices as we get closer to the regular season, preparing for preseason because we got Kansas City on Saturday. Number 8 is where we're at in the 10 observations from Cowboys and Rams joint practice from Stu Johnson and Zach Edwards. Number 8, Nate Landman, the one stopper that he is, continue to show up against the run with multiple stops for little or no gain. Gotta like that. Gotta love that. Number 9, competitive joint practice. Both sides had their moments in physical, well-coached practice against a tough Cowboys team, meaning the offensive side and the defensive side did exactly what the coaches wanted, exactly what Marshawn McVay wanted to look for in the joint practice. So he's really good. Building towards week 1. Good measuring stick as the Rams continue to prepare for opening night in Melbourne, Australia versus the 49ers. I love these 10 observations from Stu Johnson and Zach Edwards. It says offense looked good, defense looked good. You know, without Miles Garrett, without Aaron Donald, this is what the defense looked like currently. You know, things ain't gonna be like that when the regular season, really be going all out, 49ers and stuff like that. This is a very interesting opening slate that we're gonna talk about today. I don't think I've ever seen a team have this type of opening slate since I've been watching football, not covering football, but watching football. The opening slate that the Rams have is going to be very interesting to talk about. So, but the 10 observations from Stu Jackson and Zach Edwards from Cowboys and Rams joint practice back on Tuesday. Now, before we move on and get ready for previewing the opening slate, there's one more thing I want to talk about on the rundown, and this one is something that I think people should know about. This is one of the reasons why people love the Rams organization as a whole, not just the football team, but as a whole. Rams unite communities through girls flag football with club initiative. I'm going to pull this article up for you because I had it up already. This article was written by Mara Panera. Give me a minute to pull this article up. And this article reads, the Los Angeles Rams are driven by the fact that talent is equally distributed, but opportunity is not. The organization is committed to growing the game of football by providing access and opportunities for all youth across Los Angeles. The team recently launched Rams Community Club Team Initiative is their latest effort to unite communities through access to football and provide resources for young athletes to grow on and off the field. The Rams Club Team Initiative was created to build an accessible and community-rooted girls flag football ecosystem where athletes ages 6 to 18 can develop their skills, confidence, leadership, and lifelong connection to the game. Through a focus on accessibility, sustainability, culture, and development, the program aims to create opportunities for girls while establishing sustainable community-based programs across the Los Angeles market. In its first season, the Rams supported 7 community clubs, which consisted of nearly 30 teams and more than 350 girls flag football student athletes across Southern California. Clubs representing communities include Long Beach, Watts, East LA, Inglewood, South Orange County, Seal Beach, and the South Bay. This is what the Rams do, man. This is what the Rams do. Even though I might be based here in Florida, I would not take the opportunity to let the people know what the organization does outside of the field, outside of the gridiron for themselves, and what they do for others like that right there. Team initiative, club team initiative for girls flag football. It's great to see organizations like the Rams get out to the community and make sure they are in the community. What a day. Great job. That is the opening Ramily Rundown of the 7th season of Ramily Talk. Commercial break here, and then when we come back, I'm going to provide you the question of the day before we dive into the opening set of the Rams schedule.
No matter what you are watching, one thing stays the same. You got to represent your team the right way. Whether it's jerseys, hats, or hoodies, what you wear is part of the experience. If you're looking to upgrade your gear or getting ready for the next game, we got you covered. Hit the link in the description and shop officials licensed gear through Fanatics. Every team, every league, every fan. Don't just watch the game, represent it.
The Big Ten.
You can say you're not impressed. You can say you're not happy. You can say all these things, but whatever the case may be, the Buckeyes are on top of the football world. And it's just where it is.
The SEC.
And what does Georgia do? Well, as a team that has a championship pedigree would do, they came out full guns blazing, just like a tested SEC team would do. And
Big 12.
That team right there, that is ranked 15 that put up 45 points.
Yes, sir.
They were picked dead last at the beginning of the season.
The ACC.
Start with the biggest name first. Chapel Hill now. It's no longer called Chapel Hill. It's called Chapel Hill because Bill Belichick is now the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. The CLP rankings, do away with that.
Right.
Do away with it.
Bring down the gridiron on the Playmakerz Network YouTube channel and where you can find podcasts.
Success starts with the right setup. Whether you're working, creating, gaming, or building your next big idea, Odin Lakes helps you create a workspace designed for comfort and productivity. From ergonomic chairs to modern office solutions, Odin Lake is built for the grind. Work smarter, create better. Discover Odin Lake today through the Playmakerz Network. And welcome back to Ramily Talk here on the season premiere of Season 7 of Ramily Talk here this Thursday, August 13th, as preseason kicks off today. And those of you who have been faithful listeners of Ramily Talk, y'all know when it's preseason time, that means I go through the Rams schedule and give you my prediction on how the Rams can do this season. Speaking of which, let me bring you to the question of the day. What would make the Rams 2026 season a successful one? Think on it. What would you consider a successful season for this Los Angeles Rams team? I might have an idea what most people are going to say based on what the Rams did. But I want to hear from y'all. Put your comments in the chat. Don't be afraid. Just say how you feel. You know, I'm here to have a conversation with y'all. I'm not crazy or nothing like that. Just have a conversation with y'all, do with you, and have fun with it. But let's get to our season premiere. And we're premiering the opening slate. As you can see here, weeks 1 through 5, the 49ers, the Giants, the Broncos, the Eagles, and the Buffalo Bills. Now, in this slate, 4 of these games here are in prime time, which I have never seen done before. Well, also, I have never seen done before that the first 3 weeks, the 49ers, the Giants, and the Broncos are all prime time. Which is crazy to me. The lone non-primetime game will be the Eagles in week 4, and we go to Philly. But yes, this is the opening slate, which I consider the most difficult stretch of the Rams season because playoff team, playoff team, playoff team, playoff team. Giants up and coming team if they are healthy, which means you can't take them lightly. Playoff team divisional rival, playoff team in a difficult environment. Playoff team in a difficult environment. Playoff team. This is, hey man, this is crazy. So let us jump right into it right here, right now. First, what did the Rams do during their offseason to get the team that we have now? That's the first order of business. So last year, we all know the Rams handled business, going 12-5, finishing second in the NFC West by the Seattle Seahawks. Defeated the Carolina Panthers in the wild card round. Defeated the Chicago Bears in the divisional round in a thrilling game, and then lost to the Seattle Seahawks in the NFC Championship game. Every time I see the Seattle Seahawks, I just think about those 2 plays. The one in Week 16 and the other one in the NFC Championship game. Both happened on special teams. That cost the Rams the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, I don't know about y'all, but that still bothers me to this point. Special teams cost the Rams a Super Bowl because they would have beat Seattle one of them times. You talking about the Rams in the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots, and most likely beating the New England Patriots by blowing them out worse than what the Seahawks did, if I'm being completely honest. But hey, that's in the past. We need to look forward to the future. We need to look forward to the here and now. So that was that. Matthew Stafford on his MVP campaign completed 65% of his passes, threw for over 4,700 yards, 46 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Kyle Rams, 259 carries for over 1,250 yards rushing, 10 touchdowns. He also had 36 catches for over 280 yards with 3 receiving touchdowns. Puka Nacua, 129 receptions for over 1,700 receiving yards, 10 touchdowns. He also carried the ball 10 times over 100 yards for including a rushing touchdown. Davante Adams, his first year with the Rams in a surprising offseason signing. He had 60 catches, close to 800 yards receiving, 14 touchdowns in 14 games. Key additions to the Rams trade, as we mentioned at the top of the show, the trade for Trent McDuffie from the Kansas City Chiefs, and Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns. Signings that we did: Jalen Watson from Kansas City, Grant Stewart, linebacker, probably helped with some linebacker depth, get some people in the middle of the field that can help with that second unit. So you know the first unit is gonna be ridiculous. You know that front four is gonna be ridiculous. The back end's got better. We just need that middle part. The linebackers to just be good. Just be good. We did re-sign Cam Curl, and we did re-sign Quentin Lake, so that helps keep some continuity in the secondary with them too. Still got Cam Kitchens, and then you add Jalen Watson and Trent McDuffie to the secondary. I like what the secondary is looking at right now. The draft that was most surprising of the draft thus far, and still remains the most surprising draft of thus far, when the Rams picked Ty Simpson with the 13th overall pick. We talked about that when we did our draft coverage on that one. No need to rehash that. You can go back and listen to that one as the first couple of episodes of the season 7. But that's what we want me to do. We'll cover the draft, probably some big moves, and then we'll get ready for the actual season starting like right now. Key departures from the Los Angeles Rams. Right tackle Rob Havenstein, who retired. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your time with the Los Angeles Rams. You also helped bring home a Super Bowl a couple of years back. Thank you for your service. We appreciate you, man. You enjoy retirement, enjoy the life with the family, the wife, the kids, and whatnot. Enjoy life while Havenstein, you earned it. Wide receiver Tutu Atwell signed with the Miami Dolphins. Cornerback Akilo Witherspoon signed with the Washington Commanders. Cornerback Kobe Durant signed with the Dallas Cowboys. Also, cornerback Deron Kendrick signed with the Dallas Cowboys. So two of the cornerbacks that was on our team last year went to Dallas. Ironically, because two of the cornerbacks we brought in came from Kansas City. Go figure. The season statistics from 2025, we was first in scoring at 30.5 points per game. First in passing with 268.1 passing yards per game. 7th in rushing at 126.6 yards rush per game. First in total yards per game at 394.6. We were 10th in scoring defense at 20.4, and 17 in total defense at giving up 327.5 yards per game. If everything goes according to plan, that number should be significantly under for total defense. If everything goes according to plan, I don't think we'll be giving up 327 yards per game this season if everything goes up correctly. But that's what the Rams were in 2025. Now let's look forward to 2026. And the first game on the docket is we're going to Melbourne, Australia to host Melbourne, Australia to host the San Francisco 49ers. So unfortunately, San Francisco fans can't take over SoFi Stadium this year because we're going to Australia. We'll see you in Levi Stadium later on in the season. But yes, this game will be taking place in Australia. This is going to be an interesting game. First game in Australia. The Rams are the host team. 49ers coming in, so you got a division rival matchup right out the gate for Australia. And this is what the 49ers have done during their offseason thus far. Last season, 12-5, just like the Rams finished in third because we swept them. We'll see it at the bottom. They defeated the Philadelphia Eagles in a wild card round that was the defending champion at the time. And they lost to the eventual champion, the Seattle Seahawks, in the divisional round. Brock Purdy, 69.4 completion percentage last season. Over 2,100 yards thrown with 20 touchdowns and interceptions. He also had 33 carries for 147 yards and 3 touchdowns in 9 games. His backup, Matt Jones, who played 11 games. And in those 11 games Matt Jones played, he had a completion percentage of 69.6. Over 21 and 50 passing yards, 13 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Christian McCaffrey, for once, was relatively healthy for a season. 311 carries, over 1,200 yards rushing, 10 touchdowns. He had 102 receptions for just under 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. Jawan Jennings, who's no longer there. I forgot where he went. But Jawan Jennings had 55 catches, 643 receiving yards, and 9 touchdowns. Joyce Kittle, their reliable tight end. They started tight end, 57 catches, 628 of those were yards and 7 touchdowns. However, you can call that a down season for Joyce Kittle, and that's not a good thing. Key additions on the offseason for the 49ers. They have brought in Mike Evans, wide receiver Mike Evans, wide receiver Christian Kirk, cornerback Nick Hobbs, and linebacker Dre Greenlaw returns to the Bay Area. I know a lot of 49er fans are happy about that, seeing Dre Greenlaw back in the red and gold. They re-signed tight end Jake Tuggins, off defensive tackle Sam Okununua, and of course we had to make sure they kept offensive tackle Trent Williams. It was the best offensive tackle in the league. Okay, so you had to make sure you kept Trent Williams. Can't fault you for that one. Kicker Eddie Pinero signed a 4-year extension. He was one of the clutchest players that the 49ers had through all the injuries they would deal with. So re-signing the place that can ensure you get at least 3 points out of your drives every time. Not a bad choice. Key departures. Wide receiver Jawan Jennings, wide receiver Kendrick Bourne, running back Brian Robinson Jr., defensive end Bryce Huff, who retired, linebacker Eric Kendricks, linebacker D. Wooters, in a trade to Dallas. The 49ers season statistics were 10th in scoring at 25.7 points per game. They were 5th in passing at 244.5 yards passing through the air, 24th in rushing, which is a very down year for the 49ers. When you talk about the 49ers, you don't want to see 24th in rushing. That's not the 49ers, okay? 106.9 yards per rushing per game. That don't sound right. 7 in total yards for the 49ers at 351.4 yards per game. They were 13th in scoring defense at giving up 21.8 points per game, and there was 20th in total defense when they give up 337.2 yards per game to the offense. It was 1-1 with the Rams. They came to SoFi Stadium in Week 5 on a Thursday night, and they beat the Rams in overtime, 26-23. I remember that game very well, to the fact that we kept playing a soft coverage defense against Matt Jones, who kept picking us apart, and to eventually win for the 49ers in the game that we supposed to have won, but we didn't. But we returned the favor 5 weeks later in Week 10 in Santa Clara, where we beat them down 42-26. What can I say? We owed them one, and we gave it to them. But that was 2025. How do I feel about 2026 in Australia? The Down Under? The Rams will start the season 1-0 against their division rivals, the 49ers. We will start off 1-0. That's how I feel. I think with all the uncertainty surrounding the 49ers as they trying to get their team back in continuity, the Rams with that offense of Matthew Stafford, Kyren Williams, Booker Nakua, Devontae Adams, and the slew of tight ends they can use, and Cody Parkinson, Tyler Higbee, who's probably now fully healthy now, and going into his second year, Terrence Ferguson should be good. And it was the first time we get to see Myles get in the Rams uniform, going out to Brock Purdy, and possibly stopping Christian McCaffrey as well. So looking forward to that one. But these games usually are tight games, so I'm not going to say we're going to blow them out in Week 1. But these usually are tight games. But I like the Rams to live Australia 1-0 before Week 2. In Week 2, by the way, Monday Night Football at home, the home opener, the actual home opener. Yes, we are hosting we are the home team in Australia, but the home opener in SoFi Stadium is Week 2, Monday Night Football, when the New York Football Giants come into town. Shout out to my brother Wise Hefe, who is a Giants fan. I'll be seeing you in Week 2, sir. And I hope it's nothing but bad things for you in that week. I'm sorry. I love you, but your Giants got to lose. But speaking of which, this is how the Giants did last year. They was 4-13, fourth in the NFC East. Had a terrible year, riddled with injuries. Malik A was injured. Jackson Dart couldn't stay on the field. Cam Scatterbo had a severe injury. It was an injury-riddled season for the New York Football Giants. Speaking of which, Jackson Dart, in his rookie campaign before he only can play 14 games, 63.7 completion percentage, 2,272 passing yards, 15 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He also carried the ball 86 times for 487 yards and 9 touchdowns. This starter, backup, however you want to look at it. Wilson, 58 completion percentage, 831 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in 6 games. Tyrone Tice Jr., the lead back, even though they was working Cam Scatterbo in there as well. 176 carries for 740 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had 2 receiving touchdowns as well. Devin Singletary, who became the backup running back when Cam Scatterbo went down, 119 carries, 436 rushing yards, and 5 touchdowns. Their top receivers since they didn't have Malik Neighbors was Wan'Dale Robinson, 92 receptions for over 1,000 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns. Key additions for the New York Football Giants. Some key additions, by the way. They have brought in linebacker Trayman Edwards, wide receiver Darnell Moody, wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. Yes, Odell Beckham Jr. is back in his old stopping ground of New York, New Jersey. Wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, wide receiver Braxton Berrios. Those receivers would definitely help Jackson Dart. If OBJ can still do a little bit of what OBJ can do, that's going to help. Darnell Moody came from Atlanta Falcons. That's a good pickup for a guy like Jackson Dart. Juju Smith-Schuster is a big receiver. Braxton Berrios, he can work the slot. They got Jackson Dart some weapons to play with, okay? They got him some weapons to play with. I can't be mad at it. On the defensive side, nose tackle DJ Reader. Defensive tackle Shelby Harris. And some good pickups for that D-line, man. Now, D-line was already good, but man, ugh. But when you do get rid of Dexter Lawrence, you do got to fill that void. So DJ Reader and Shelby Harris, not too bad guys to fill a bigger hole left by Dexter Lawrence, who is with the Cincinnati Bengals. Key departures: inside linebacker Byron Okuoki, kicker Graham Gano, and the aforementioned Dexter Lawrence, who was traded to the Cincinnati Bengals. Here's what the Giants did last year, statistically. They were 17th in scoring at 22.4 points per game. 21st in passing at 204.4 yards a game. 5th in rushing, 129.1 per game. 20th in total yards, 333.5 yards per game. On the defensive side, they was 26th in defensive scoring, giving up 25.8 points per game. And there was 28th in total defense, giving up 359.5 yards per game. The last time the Rams met the New York Giants, that was 3 years ago, well, close to 3 years ago, up in New Jersey at East Rutherford, New Jersey at MetLife Stadium, and the Rams came out 26-25 in that one. What will we do in the opening night of SoFi Stadium on Monday Night Football? We're going to beat the Giants. I'm sorry, Wise, I love you. You're my brother and all. But your Giants are taking an L to the Rams. And if they don't, we need to have a serious discussion about why did you lose to the New York Giants in week 2 of the season. Now, this is like week 10, 11 when the Giants got all their pieces and everything's working and the continuity is there. Then I can say, okay, religiously, I can see why they lost. No, you better not lose to the Giants. You better not. You just can't lose to the Giants. All right. On to week 3, Sunday Night Football. 3 straight primetime games. Netflix for the opening day with the 49ers in Australia. Monday night at home against the Giants. And then Sunday Night Football week 3 at the Mile High City against the Broncos. Well, let's see what the Broncos did last season. This is what the Broncos looked like last year. 14-3 of the season. AFC West champions for the first time in quite some time, and the first time that Kansas City Chiefs did not walk away with that division. They defeated the Buffalo Bills in the division round. They was defeated by the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game. Bo Nix, 63.4 completion percentage last year. Close to 4,000 yards passing, 3,931 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. He also carried the ball 83 times, just over 350 rushing yards with 5 touchdowns. J.K. Dobbins, 153 carries, 172 rushing yards, and 4 touchdowns. R.J. Harvey, I had 146 carries, over just hitting 540 on the yard mark, 7 touchdowns. He also had 5 receiving touchdowns with 350 receiving yards on 41 catches. Courtland Sutton, the number 1 guy in Denver, outside of Bo Nix, 774 receiving, or 74 receptions, my bad. Going too fast. Over 1,000 yards receiving, 7 touchdowns. Troy Franklin, their rookie wide receiver, 65 receptions, over 700 receiving yards, and 6 touchdowns. Key additions. Wide receiver Jalen Waddle. What a surprise move for that. They re-signed J.K. Dobbins, running back. They re-signed inside linebacker Alex Singleton, and they re-signed linebacker Justin Strnad. So Denver, they like the core that they got, but they added a little piece here with Jalen Waddle to help with the passing game. They added some pieces. They also kept the main pieces on the defense to make sure that defense stays intact. So I can't be mad at them for it whatsoever. I can't be. So, season statistics from the Denver Broncos. 14th in scoring, 23.6 points per game. 11 in passing at 223.9 yards per game. 16th in rushing, 118.7 rushing yards per game. 10th in total yards at 342.6. On the defensive side, they was third in defensive scoring. They only gave up 18.3 points per game last year. It was hard to score on the Denver's defense. Second in total defense. It was hard to move the ball against the Broncos defense as well. They only gave up 278.2 yards per game. The last time the Denver Broncos met with the Los Angeles Rams, and I remember this game very well, and I'm pretty sure most of you do too. Go back 4 years ago in 2022, Christmas Day in Los Angeles, the Rams beat the brakes off Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos in a year that it sucked for us. That was a terrible. We was coming off the Super Bowl. Injuries everywhere. Matthew Stafford injured. Almost the entire offensive line injured. Injury on the defensive side. It was a rough season in 2022. But on Christmas Day, I remember that game. And that game was on Amazon Prime too. Beat the holy brakes off the Denver Broncos on Christmas Day. They beat them down. But that was then. 4 years later, they have a guy by the name of Bo Nix as the quarterback. They have a head coach by the name of Sean Payton who was coaching them. And they bring in Jalen Waddle. They kept J.K. Dobbins. And that defense is already nasty as it is. And they want to be more nasty this year. So the Rams don't start 3-0, in my opinion. I think our first hiccup is right here when we go to the Mile High City. I think our first hiccup is right here. I think we lose to the Denver Broncos. I mean, it's nothing to be ashamed of, you know. The question has always been, do you believe your team to go undefeated? For me, realistically, I don't ever think my team can go undefeated. Do we win more games than we lose? Hell yeah. But I don't see us going undefeated. It's hard to go undefeated in the NFL. The last team they went undefeated in the NFL was the New England Patriots until they got to the Super Bowl and it was beaten by the New York Giants. So the only team in the NFL history to go a perfect season is the Miami Dolphins, and that was back in the 70s. We are in 2026. No other team has said they went perfect like the Miami Dolphins did. Matter of fact, the 72 Dolphins at that. 72 Dolphins. We're talking about what, 54 years later? If my math is correct. And I'm usually good at math, so let me see. 2026 minus 1972. 54. 54 years. No other team can say they went perfect. The New England Patriots said they had a perfect regular season. But you got beat in the Super Bowl. So it's hard for me to say the Los Angeles Rams are going undefeated. I think we lose. I think our first loss comes to the Mile High City. That's the way I think. Some of you might not like it, but that's just the way I think right there. So with that, we're going to take another commercial break here. And then when we come back, we will preview the other two games, weeks 4 and 5, before we get out of here.
Success starts with the right setup. Whether you're working, creating, gaming, or building your next big idea, Odin Lakes helps you create a workspace designed for comfort and productivity. From ergonomic chairs to modern office solutions, Odin Lake is built for the grind. Work smarter, create better. Discover Odin Lake today through the Playmakerz Network.
Poppy J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying, but this is also an option.
Wise El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Poppy J and Wise El Jefe, Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Big game today? Don't spend it in the kitchen. Crown Unity delivers fresh, chef-crafted meals straight to your door so you can spend less time cooking and more time enjoying the action. Whether it's football season, basketball season, or fight night, Cook Unity has you covered. Fill your day with Cook Unity. Get started today through the Playmakerz Network.
And welcome back to Ramily Talk, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all for tuning in on this season 7 premiere of Ramily Talk here as we went through the first 3 games of the Rams opening stretch where we got us at 2-1 right now, beating the 49ers, beating the Giants, but losing to the Broncos in our first actual road game of the season. Where we got to go to Mile High City on a Sunday night football encounter. But hey, these things happen, and you also got to ask yourself, do you see the Rams going undefeated? I don't think so. We'll have some losses on the season. That doesn't take away from us doing the main goal, which is winning the Super Bowl in SoFi Stadium this year. But I don't see the Rams going undefeated. So our first loss comes in week 3 against the Rams. Question of the day. Remind y'all real quick. What would make the Rams 2026 season a successful one? Please share your comments, share your thoughts with me as we continue on. So we're sitting at 2-1 right now, and we're going to week 4. And week 4 brings us to a place that's been a house of horrors for us. It brings us to a team that's outside of the NFC West is one of our rivals, and that is the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to Lincoln Financial Field again, a place that we having a hard time winning. Oh, man. When it comes to this team loves going against us. They love going. They want our heads on the silver platters every time they see us. So, the Philadelphia Eagles. What did the Eagles do this past season? Well, they're reigning Super Bowl champions, but they were 11-6 this time. They were in the. They won the East again. The first time a team in that division has won that division back-to-back years for the first time in quite some time. However, they lost to the San Francisco 49ers in the wild card round. Jalen Hurts, 64.8% completion percentage, over 3,200 yards passing with 25 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. 105 carries for 421 yards and 8 touchdowns. Saquon Barkley, after a stellar first year with the Eagles, second year, not so much. 280 carries for over 1,100 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns. A.J. Brown, 78 receptions, over 1,000 yards with 7 touchdowns. Devontae Smith, 77 receptions, over 1,000 yards and 4 touchdowns. And then you get Dallas Goedert, their faithful tight end, 60 catches, just under 600 receiving yards and 11 touchdowns. Key additions for the Philadelphia Eagles: quarterback Andy Dalton from the Carolina Panthers, wide receiver Dattavion Wicks from the Green Bay Packers. Those were the trades that they made. The signings that they did, they signed tight end Johnny Munt, running back Dameon Pierce, wide receiver Hollywood Brown. For those of you who don't know, Marquise is his real name, but you can know him as Hollywood Brown, and also wide receiver Elijah Moore. They drafted wide receiver Mekhi Lemon with the 20th pick from USC. I gotta be honest with you. I hated that pick. I was like, darn, he went to Philly. Wanted him to go to the Rams, but we took Towson at 13. But that's a good pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. I gotta admit, man. I believe my co-host Kumi Kane and the guys over at Eagles Elite, they will agree with that. That was a good pick by them. So, but those are the key additions. I like their key additions, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. They added to the receiving core because when you get to the key to prices, they lost some things too. They lost some players too. But also bringing in running back Dameon Pierce to back up Saquon Barkley, another big physical running back. Saquon Barkley is big, physical, and fast. This is a rare combination. That's why they look at Saquon Barkley as a generation talent. And then you bring in Dameon Pierce as the backup. Ugh. This is wrong. Then you Hollywood Brown. If Hollywood Brown can get his head together
and he still got it in him, that's your deep threat. Elijah Moore can work the inside, and Makai Lemon, if he just learns the game and do what he did at USC, he's gonna be a problem. Key departures for the Philadelphia Eagles, obviously the big one, wide receiver AJ Brown traded to the New England Patriots. Now he's back reunited with Mike Vrabel. Defensive end Brandon Graham retired again. He tried to come back to help Philly make another run, didn't work out, so he retires again. Outside linebacker Darius Smith is left. Safety Rod Blankenship has gone. Linebacker N'Kobe Dean has left. Robert Zirjah Dotson is gone. And edge rusher Jalen Phillips is gone as well. What did the Eagles do statistic-wise last year? They was 19th in scoring. 22.3 points per game. 23rd in passing at 194.3 yards per game. 18th in rushing. That's not the Philadelphia Eagles. 116.9 rushing yards per game. 24th in total yards at 311.2. On the defensive side, that was 5th in scoring defense, giving up only 19 points per game. 13th in total yards given up at 314.2 yards given up per game. And of course, we met these same dudes last year, the same team, the same organization last year in Philly, and we came up short 33-26. That was in week 3. Now we got them in week 4. All right, Playmaker. You said this team outside of division. This is our outside rival team. Yep, it is, and it is in Philly. And Philly's been a house of horrors. I don't know what it is. When it comes to Philly, they always see us at the wrong time. Whatever got going on with Philly, they see us, and it's like, okay, it's time to get right. Easter Rams coming in. We need to beat them. They one of that team that want to play hardball with us. We need to beat them. So, yet again, I got us losing back-to-back road games. So we 2-2 going into week 5. I'm sorry, man. I have to see this team beat Philly. I have to see it. If there's some teams that I have to see them beat, for example, when our Super Bowl year in 2021, the 49ers owned our asses. I believe they beat us like 9 straight times. Anybody correct me on that if y'all can. I don't know if it was 8 or 9. It was like, but I believe it was 9 straight times they were whooping our asses. It didn't matter. It was in LA, in San Francisco. Damn, it could have been on the moon. That's how bad it was. Kyle Shanahan was whooping Sean McVay's ass for that time period. And one of the most famous episodes of Ramily Talk is me going off on the Rams after losing to the 49ers for I think the 9th straight time. And I'm going off because it's like, if we are going to win the Super Bowl, and that year was in LA, by the way, we got to beat the 49ers. And sure enough, behold, guess who we met in the NFC Championship game? The goddamn 49ers. We hosted the NFC Championship game that year. Because we went to Temple, we beat them, and the 49ers was beating other teams like the Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers and stuff like that. So we got to host the NFC Championship game at SoFi Stadium, where the Super Bowl we played at. And it's the goddamn 49ers right there. We beat the 49ers. We win the Super Bowl. I'm having a similar feeling with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I'm not saying you beat the Eagles, you're going to win the Super Bowl, but for some reason, the Eagles got our number. They have our number. Ever since they had Jalen Hurts, they've been having our number. And then you add Saquon Barkley to the mix, and then you see what happens. But they have our number for some reason, so I need to see the Rams beat the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know if we can go to Philly after this. Australia, Monday night, Sunday night, and then you finally got a regular game, and then you got to go to Philly. I just don't see that happening. So I see us dropping 2 straight. This is not cause for panic, people, when this happens. If this happens, do not panic. Do not let the national media put y'all in panic mode because the Rams lost 2 straight. You lost to the Broncos on Sunday night in Denver, and then you lost to Philly in Philly. It's 2 losses. Chill. Plenty more games to go. Okay, be 2-2 through the first 4 weeks. Do not lose it. I'm doing this now so that if this scenario does happen, y'all can't say I said this during the preseason breakdown. 2-2 through 4 weeks means do not lose your freaking minds. We got plenty of football left. It's the first 4 weeks of the season. Calm down. Okay? You're 2-2. Going into week 5 and back on Monday night at home against the Buffalo Bills. Like I said, I do not recall any team since I've been watching football who had a opening stretch like the Los Angeles Rams does. You opening up in Australia against the 49ers. You come home on Monday night and you host the New York Giants. On Sunday night, you go to Denver, and then you take a trip out to Philly week 4, and then you come home on a Monday night against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills in week 5. This is a crazy opening stretch. I have never seen a team open like this. But week 5, we are home. We're hosting Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. What was the Bills like in 2025? Well, the Buffalo Bills, they were 12-5. They finished second in the AFC East, which was shocking because we thought they was going to win it, but the Patriots caught them. They defeated the Jacksonville Jaguars in the wild card round right here in Jacksonville. I watched that game. They got beat by the Denver Broncos in the divisional round. In the game, they should have won, but they left the door open and the Broncos took it. Josh Allen, 69.3 completion percentage last year. Just under 3,700 yards passing, 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He also ran the ball in 14 times for a touchdown, 579 rushing yards. James Cook III, 309 carries last year. Over 1,600 rushing yards, 12 touchdowns on the ground. He also had 2 touchdowns in the air. Khalil Shakir, 72 catches, 719 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns. Dawson Knox, their duo tight ends, 39, 36 catches respectively, 571 receiving yards for Kennett, 417 for Knox, 5 touchdowns to 4 touchdowns. Key additions for the Buffalo Bills, not really much. They did trade for wide receiver DJ Moore from the Chicago Bears. They signed cornerback D. Alford, helped boost their secondary. Key departures, safety Taylor Rapp, wide receiver Curtis Samuel. Season statistics with the Buffalo Bills. Tied for 4th in scoring at 28.3 points per game. 15 in passing at 216.6 passing yards per game. The number 1 rushing attack in all of the National Football League. 159.6 rushing yards per game. And when you have Josh Allen and James Cook both going off on you, you can see why there was the number 1 rushing attack in all of the National Football League. 4th in total offense, total yards, 376.3 yards per game. On the defensive side, 12th in scoring defense, giving up 21.5 points per game. 7th in total defense, giving up 293.1 yards per game. Last time we met the Buffalo Bills, it was in 2024, 2 years ago, and y'all probably remember that crazy ass shootout that happened in Los Angeles. Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford put on a show on Fox. Was it? I think it was Fox. Just put on an absolute show. This game was ridiculous. Back and forth affair. Man, oh man. And the Rams came out 42-40 win. And after that game, the Rams could not score no more for whatever reason. And the defense was not letting people scoring on them. It was a crazy. After that game, it was like, okay, the defense was like, ain't nobody else scoring that much points on us ever again. And then the offense, they had a hard time scoring, but luckily we had a kicker that can make kicks, and we won some games by kicking field goals. So, but hey, that was 2 years ago, man. That was a hell of a game. We might have another shootout in week 5. Who knows? Speaking of which, I do have the Rams winning this one. I have the Rams winning this one. We will beat the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen yet again at home. So that brings us to 3-2 through the first 5 weeks of the season. Through the opening stretch of the NFL season, the Rams go 3-2. Like I said, we're going to open up with 2 dubs. We beat the 49ers. We beat the Giants. We're going to lose both our away games at Denver, Sunday Night Football, at Philly for week 4, and they come home on the Monday night and beat the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. We're 3-2 through 5 weeks. Chill. Relax. Just relax. That's all it is. It's a prediction. It's just how I feel because I like to be honest and objective about my team. That's the way I roll. I can't just say we're going to win every game. Yeah, you're real. No. A real fan is going to be honest with himself, herself, the people around him, and the team that they root for. That's real fans. Real fans will be honest and say, this is how I feel about this game, and this is why I think we have a hiccup at. Or this is where this game could be tricky at, but I can see a survivor. Being honest and real, that's what makes you a real fan. Not a psychotic fan, a real fan. So we go 3-2 in the first 5 weeks, okay? So thank you for tuning into this premiere episode of Ramily Talk Season 7. We are on the way as we begin to preview the Los Angeles Rams season for 2026. 3-2 through 5 weeks. What will look like when we look at weeks 6 through 10, 6 through 9. I don't know. Come back next week to find out what the Playmaker down in Sallins feel as the Rams journey through the 2026 season on a pathway to get to Super Bowl 61 in Los Angeles, California at SoFi Stadium. For the Playmaker, this is it for me. Until next week, this has been Ramily Talk, Rams Nation, East Coast Station, horns up every week.